Well, it's open season on Military Wise, and if you want to get away with premeditated murder, all you have to do is claim combat PTSD, regardless of whether you've actually been in combat or not. A gross miscarriage of justice has occurred in the trial of Jordan Henning, the service member who murdered his wife on camera by shooting her while she was seated in a chair. Jordan even reloaded and then proceeded to execute Ashley after he can be seen spitting on her body, all while her children were in and out of the house. Jordan's decrepit old lawyer, this guy, would paint a narrative that Jordan was the victim of horrific intimate partner abuse and just a heroic combat veteran, when in reality, Jordan left a wake of abused women in his past who had accused and reported him of domestic violence with no repercussions for him, of course. Additionally, Jordan would never set foot in a combat zone. Friends who saw his military records with their own eyes tell me Jordan was never deployed to high conflict zones. He never went to Iraq or Afghanistan, and he never experienced any combat trauma. Well, Ashley, a highly educated mental health professional in the military herself, did multiple deployments in those countries. Jordan's lawyers would also paint a picture of him going to the National Training Center and liken this to practically going to war. But if you're in the military or highly aware, you know that's total bullshit. Now, I have myself even shared on my podcast that service members who don't see combat can experience PTSD. Many of them do. And I'm not trying to dispel that. However, the defense made sure to point Jordan out as being a traumatized combat veteran who had long suffered the emotional and mental effects of combat, and none of that was true. And for their part, the Commonwealth of Kentucky did nothing to expose the lies that Jordan's defense was just completely making up. And there were multiple people who witnessed Jordan's abuse of Ashley who were deposed and sitting and waiting to be called to testify, but the Commonwealth of Kentucky never called them. In the end, the jury would side with Jordan Henning and convict him of the lesser charge of manslaughter with a 20-year prison sentence eligible for parole, which means this man will possibly be out in 10 to 15 years to do this to more women. Now, he may very well be at his children's weddings. He may be able to be involved in his grandchildren's lives, find love, and remarry. That's up to his children how they choose to continue with him. But either way, those are all things that Ashley was robbed of and will never be able to do because of this monster. At the risk of sounding like a white woman with a savior complex, I'm going to say this. Had Jordan been black and Ashley been white, that man would be headed to death row. Or had Ashley murdered Jordan, Ashley would be headed to death row. Call me anything you want, but don't call me ignorant to the fact that women of color are being disproportionately murdered in this country, specifically by service members, and nobody's doing anything about it. Racism is alive and well in the military and in the United States criminal justice system. And that was made very clear during Ashley's trial, where a jury included not one single person of color. Now, Ashley was universally loved for her warmth, her kindness, and her reliability. Friends and colleagues describe her as a person who was always ready to help, whether lending a hand at work or offering a ride off base. She brought joy to every room with her positivity, her rational mindset, and her vibrant laugh. Even during deployments, Ashley's uplifting presence and unwavering support made tough times feel easier for those around her. Ashley was a cherished friend, mother, soldier, and role model. Thank you for taking the time today to learn about Ashley's story, a legacy of kindness, love, and unwavering strength that deserves to be honored. If you'd like a deep dive into this case, please go follow my podcast wherever you listen, The Wounds That Do Not Heal with Tressa Brady. Stay tuned for that episode to release as I continue to connect with Ashley's friend to provide the most thoughtful and comprehensive insight possible. Now, please help share this message far and wide so we can make sure the world remembers Ashley for the incredible person she was and not the lies that murderous monster is spewing about her. Ashley dedicated her life to helping others. Let's not let her death end those efforts. Let's make her story one that inspires courage in other victims of domestic violence.